I'll be discussing few use cases which are generic in nature and can be used across all the industries. And post that, we can have a Q&A session. Just one important point, I would request you all to please keep yourself on mute. Once I'm done with this session, we'll have a Q&A session, and in that you can post your questions on the chat window. I'll be answering them one by one. Okay, so before I jump on the use cases which I intend to today, let me just give you a brief background on what actually customer insights is. Okay, so think of a customer journey. Okay, what is a customer journey? When we use this term customer journey, we always use it from the perspective of a customer. A customer first identifies, he does a research on a product for a company. Then he considers it, evaluates the product. Maybe he goes to the retail store and then he does his evaluation. Post that, he may go for the formal process and then he purchases the product. He may go for servicing and then can also do a loyalty repurchase, as we call it. He may also give a feedback back to the company. Well, this entire gamut of processes that he follows, he may go through a multiple application or maybe a single application itself, which is connected in different ways. Now, from the customer point of view, the UI, UX, all these are considered to be a part of the customer journey, as I call it. Now, let's think of the customer journey from the customer insights perspective. Okay, so how do we get into that part? Now imagine the same case. A customer wants to buy a product of a company. He may call the call center and he may talk to the customer service representative out there who will be using a CRM. He may walk in directly to the store. The guy who's standing there may be using a retail POS. He may go to the e-commerce website and then browse through the product. Post he purchases the product, he may give his feedback on the social media platform on the product, or maybe he may give his feedback directly on the company website. He may also, once he purchases the data, the data of the customer goes to the ERP of the company. Now the IT application stack of the organization was having multiple applications. As you can see on your screen, I've tried to showcase to you a typical IT application landscape. This includes a CRM, a retail POS, an ERP, an e-commerce website, social media aggregator or websites. All these collectively become somewhere a part of a customer journey. The CRM holds the demographic data, the lead data and all. The retail POS will hold the POS interactions and purchase history. The e-commerce will hold the purchase history and the contact detail of the customer. The ERP may hold the invoices and the product detail. The social media aggregator website may hold the feedback that the customer gives, his comments on the product. Now, when the entire customer journey was happening, that means the customer was purchasing the product through all these applications. He was leaving his footprints across all these applications. These are called data footprints. Now, if we see collectively the entire data of the customer lies across all these applications. There can be more, obviously. I've just taken a few examples. Now, when we see the collective value of a customer, when we want to analyze a customer's data, we have to go through all these individual applications and then see what all data we can analyze. We may have to pull it and then do the analysis. Till now, it was done through Excel sheets and all. But now times have changed. There is another story behind it. Earlier if we go back a few decades, the data was captured in the form of a form, which was the UI, and then there was a backend, that is the database. We would capture the detail of the customer while interacting with the customer, and the data would get into the database and the processing would happen. That's it, end of the story. But there was no usage of the data that was getting stored day by day, every day out there. We were doing few analytics on the Excel spreadsheet, that's it. There was nothing else that was done. few companies came, few organizations went a step ahead and started implementing DW, data warehouse as they call it, and they started generating the so-called golden ID of the customer. This requires quite an investment on the infra of from the company side, and then when they do it, post that they are able to do the analysis and able to implement the use cases that they see from the customer insight perspective. To resolve this entire gamut of issues and challenges, Microsoft has come up with something called Customer Insights. Customer Insights is an easy, low-code, no-code way of actually doing deep analytics on your customer data, which is spread across multiple applications. It is something you can imagine that a functional consultant, the person who doesn't hold any technical background or technical knowledge, can actually pull up data from different sources through multiple connectors which Microsoft exposes, and then post doing it, he can do his deep analytics, which are available free of cost. Actually, some of the use cases are so easy that life becomes, for the person who's doing it and for the organization, life becomes much simpler. Before I jump to those use cases, let me give a brief on how the customer insight works in the background. Customer insights can be broken down into 4 basic steps, and post that comes the step of analysis, and as I call it, the deep analytics. The first step is the creation of the data sources. Now, what is that? There's something called a Power Query that Microsoft has come up with. It's a very powerful way, no-code, low-code way, basically, of actually pulling data and analyzing, filtering it, cleaning it. All these functionality can be done directly through the Power Query. When you're creating data sources, you can actually pull data from multiple sources. Microsoft provides multiple different connectors through which you can pull these data. The second step is that of map. Now, what is the meaning of map? It's just configuring the unique ID and selecting few columns out there for the entities, as we call it. One data source can have multiple entities. Then comes the match part. Now, what is match? We create rules. Rules means, for example, the website data which was present may have the unique ID as the email, and the CRM has unique ID, maybe some unique number. But CRM also holds the email ID of the customer. So therefore, what we do is that we create a rule which matches the email in both the databases. This is how we match those 2 databases and complete this step. The last step is that of merging. Merging is the final step, as we call it in the language of data warehouse, creating a golden ID of the customer. It is a single entity which gets created, the customer entity, and it has got all the data on top of which we can do the analytics. Now let's jump down to the use cases. Okay, so the first use case that I wanted to discuss, as I said in the beginning, these are generic use cases and can be used across all industries. I've deliberately tried to pick up only the generic ones. Reason being, they're kind of a plug and play for all the industry, and it becomes easier for you to understand them also. For the first customer case which I wanted to discuss here is customer value in customer service. Now, what is the customer value in customer service? Let me just explain you this use case first of all. Think of a customer service scenario where the guy is calling call center, or maybe a guy is directly going to the retail POS. At that time, the person who's facing the customer service executive, or maybe the resource at the retail store, may want to know what is the value of the customer. When we define how do we define the value? Value would be defined into multiple factors, but we'll pick up few factors to define them and to use them out there. To complete this use case, I've used few data sources. The first is the e-commerce use case, which has got the customer and the purchase history. The second is the loyalty scheme. Maybe the loyalty points which are accrued by the customer are stored in this database. The next is the POS, the point of sale, which has got the store purchase data. And the last is the website, which may have the website reviews as well as the website purchase data. As we see, the key parameters which define the customer value, as I was talking about, I've tried to lay down these 4, and I've used these 4 in the customer insight instance also. The first is the average web purchase. As the word defines, it's the average web purchase for a customer. What is the average value that he's using? Similarly, the average store purchase, the total club points, the total number of club points that he's accruing, and the lifetime spend, the entire spending on all the products that customer is making. You can actually use multiple other scenario. One more relevant scenario can be the reviews from the customer side. You can have them as a rating out there. When you pull them up, you can actually show there's a customer value. The gold star customer would be treated in a different way, for example, maybe, and a bronze star would be treated in a different way. Or maybe we'll be giving a different kind of products offering to the gold star customer at the time when he walks into the store or calls up the call center. Now, let me just quickly go to the use case, which actually shows the okay. So for these four use cases these four key parameters as I was talking about are actually the ones which lie in the measures section. What you see right now is a customer insight in trial instance, and I've tried to have these use cases implemented in this instance. As you see the four values as I was talking about, the average store purchase, average web purchase, lifetime spend, and total club points. These are different customer attribute as we call it, and we create first as a measure out there. If I go to the average web purchase, you can see it how simple it is to actually configure it. You just need to pull in few entities out there which are part of your data sources. Put this simple functionality of creating an average of those entity values and holding them out there in a particular field. That's it. Once you've held it up, you can now use it out there in the customer profile, which I'll be showcasing to you. Similarly, if you go back to the other measure, for example, the total club points, if you go again, it's just pulling up those entities and having the function applied. These are completely non-technical way. Any functional person, any non-techie guy can actually do this thing by himself also. You don't need to set up a team also. The best part about customer insights is that your single person can actually do the entire exercise. The only part where actually where actually the challenges may lie, which I would like to highlight here, is that of the first part, that is the data sources creation. If you see, there are multiple data sources out there which I've tried to add that I was showcasing out there. These data sources would actually require you to actually do the proper cleansing of data and have them in a proper format. Then only you should ingest it out there in the customer insights. The best practice is to spend maximum amount of time in actually configuring these data sources only. Now let me come back to the use case. These four use cases, as I was talking about, are the ones which are available on the customer side. Now I've created these four use cases, and when I go to the customer record, if I go to the customers on the left side and I search that particular customer, these are the different cards, the customer cards which get created through customer insights by itself. There's nothing that has to be done. If you see it, the average web purchase, the average store purchase, the total club points, and the lifetime spend, these four parameters, as I was talking about for this particular use case, have popped up out here. Now, what is the usage of it? Now, the first thing is that these, as I said, in any customer service scenario, these four parameters can be pulled across any application. There are APIs which are exposed by customer insights, and these APIs are available. Now you can actually pull them up and use it everywhere, be it your Power Apps or maybe any CRM or maybe a retail POS or maybe any other customer facing application that have been built up. Now, for the sake of a demo purpose, I've tried to showcase the same thing out there. If you see this contact page of the customer Abby Moss, you'll see the entire data as we were showcasing. It showcases the KPI, the demographic detail, and the customer insight timeline. The parameters that I was talking about are part of this KPI only. Similarly, you can configure and add more parameters out there. Now let's come to the second use case, the customer churn analysis. Now, again, as I said, the reason why I've tried to pull up these, and they are very thought through ones. These use cases are the ones which are very generic one. Customer churning is one of the biggest problem that different companies, product companies, face across the industries. It's there's an old saying, that there's an old adage, as they say, that retaining a customer is twice or thrice more valuable than actually trying to get a new one. It's better to have one guy staying at your company rather than you pulling up new guys out there, new customers out there. For that, and customer churning means those customers who I think that actually are more prone to leave my product and go to another product or another brand actually. Now, to do the churn analysis, what we have done is that we have done an integration with Azure ML Studio. We've created an AI custom model and created segment for high-risk churn users. The need for this is that the previous use case that I was talking about does not use any AI factor, AI or ML. And this one, the customer churn one, which would be actually using an AI custom model. The second point that you see, that creating an AI custom model, you can also have your any data scientist or any from your organization create a custom model by yourself. It doesn't need to be coming from Microsoft side only. But for the sake of this demo, I've actually tried to showcase the one which is already available. There is a hotel churn custom model which I saw in the Azure AI Gallery. Just for your information, for everybody's information, Azure AI Gallery is a kind of a repository for all the custom models that you can think from the Azure side. You will be able to find any those use cases that you can think of. All of them are present here, and you just need to tweak these custom model by yourself, which is very much possible and very much easier. And once you have done it, you can have these custom model ingest your data sources from customer insights and then do the deep analytics. Once I pull it up, it opens something like this. As you can see, it's a completely open available model, and I can add more nodes out there, remove the nodes that I don't need. The example is that of a hotel churn, but you can actually use it across for all the industries. It just requires tweaking a bit out there in the Azure Machine Learning Studio. Once I've used it, what it does is that it ingests the data from the data sources, and by itself does provide us the number of members who can actually go churn from my organization. If I see this, the high risk of churn segment which got created through that custom model, I created that custom model as a segment, and when that high risk for churn this data got created through that custom model, I will have the list of all the members who are more prone to leave my organization. Once I have this, you will see the straight line because the data has not got changed from the day I created it. The more I keep on adding the data, the more analysis will happen by itself. You can schedule that also by, how much it will run in a day or maybe in a week. And once that is done, it will be giving us the entire segment members who are more prone to leave my organization. It does this analysis through itself only, and as I said, there's no coding or no such thing that is involved. It's a completely non-coding, a functional way of doing it. Once I have this list, I can download it in this format, the CSV format, or I can also pull this segment directly into my different application. Microsoft Marketing, that is D365 Marketing, has got a segment, and it is directly related to these segments that we see on the left-hand side menu. You can actually pull it through the admin center. There's something called export destination, and if you click on it, you can actually create the export destination directly as Microsoft D365 Marketing module. There are multiple other options available, and they're easy to use. There is no such thing that is, it's just one-click functionality of pulling this data across to the other applications. Once that is done, I can actually do an analysis on that, or I can run a campaign on those members, trying to retain them, or I can provide free services or something like that. Once I have the data, it will keep on adding more data out there on the people who want to churn, and I can have them filtered, and I have the value of these people. The next case that I wanted to discuss is that of the personalized offer for valued customers. Now, the first step that we did was that we did analysis on the customers, and it was irrespective of the customer, whether he's purchased one product of my company or maybe 10 product of my company. Maybe he's a regular buyer, or he's a frequent buyer, or he comes once in a month or so. Once I have that data, I can actually provide personalized offer for the valued customers. I can actually create segments which will be targeting only a particular set of people. Now that can be basis the demographic detail that I have, basis their age, maybe the gender, or maybe the different measures that I created. Let me just go back and showcase it to you. For this, I have actually created two segments. One is a summer promo, and the second one is a high value online customers. If I go back to the segments, you'll see the high value online customer in the summer promo out there. Let me just showcase the summer promo one to you guys. As you can see, the same way the earlier measures were created, in the similar way, I can use those measures and actually have this incorporated. I'm trying to give a summer promo to a particular set of customer who have average store purchase greater than or equal to 100, let us suppose. Their date of birth is greater than or equal to this, and the date of birth is less than or equal to this. That means it lies in a particular age bracket. I'm trying to target a particular set of customer from a specific age, and from the customer insight entity, I'm picking up all the records. Once I do this, this segment will run and will provide me those particular set of people to whom I can give these personalized offer. This is one of the easiest way of actually creating data on top of the measures that we create. So as I said, the first 4 steps that I've showcased to you, that is creating a data sources, map, match, and merge. And the next step that comes out there in customer insight is creating measures and segments. You keep on imagining the scenarios, whatever you want to target, and you can keep creating measures. You utilize these measures out there in your segments. It's as easy as you can think of it. Once that is done, the data has been created. You have something called export destination, as I said, and you can pull these data out there. Now let me go back to the customer screen and showcase it. Yeah, as you see, this is the customer card which gets created. This is the timeline. There are the average web purchase, tour purchase, and the total club points out there. If I go to the home dashboard, I see the inside, the average web purchase value. Now this average web purchase value and store purchase value are the one that I've created as a business measures for my company. And in the summer promo and high value online customer, I'll be getting the data for the customer to whom I'll be providing the personalized offers. And then finally, the high risk of churn. That said, let me just give you a brief on Ollie Technologies, and post that we'll move to the Q&A session. Okay, so Ollie Tech has got 20 years of experience in Microsoft Business Solutions. The primary focus of ours have been the Microsoft suite of products, basically, be it Business Central, customer engagement as they've moved in, finance and operation, all of them. We are gold partner on customer engagement and Dynamics Nav. We have done around 600 plus engagements across the globe, and this includes fresh implementations, upgrades, and managed support also. Right now, we are focusing, apart from the one that we have, on Power Platform implementations also, which are the key ones. Send your any other question that you're having, maybe directly to the email ID that's mentioned on the screen right now. Also, we can, if needed, we can actually engage out there on the direct on my email ID also, which will be available through the person who will be interacting on this email ID. Also, so that's it from my side. I think we're done with it. Thank you very much. Thank you all for attending this.